GM, or GN, wherever you are in the world. This is Blockparty with myself, Hefe. We got No Futuristic with us, and we have a friend in the studio, Choina. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to Blockparty. We are a couple of, whatever you want to call us, crypto fanatics, degens. We spend a ton of time on crypto Twitter, and we'll kind of break down what's happening this week, not just in crypto Twitter, but just in our general crazy world right now, and just have a good time. So, you know, I got a little something to drink here. I actually just went out for a little puff, so I'm feeling pretty good right now, and y'all can do the same if you would like. So, No Futuristic, how are you doing, man? How are things?
I'm doing well, man. I'm putting us in the Aavegotchi Discord because we have some friends who are looking like, hey, what is this? And I'm like, just check us out. We're on the stage. We're on the stage. Cool. Yeah, once I get the Twitch thing, I'll drop it in. I'm good, man. I saw the image of you earlier. You look like you have been touching some agua. You like hit some water or something. Oh, the fly's back. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you look great, man. You look like you're having a good time.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I think it's in the general chat. Yeah. Right here. Oh, man. This was a good time. This is something I've never done before. I went with my girlfriend and her dad, who's really into fishing and boats. And he was able to rent out this jet boat. It's called a jet boat, so it's made to like go down like little rivers and little canals and little waterways, and it's a very, very powerful boat. I mean, probably about 450 pounds of torque, probably about 500 horsepower motor on an aluminum boat that probably weighs less than like a smart car, so like maybe probably half the weight of a smart car. So very fast, very nimble, and so it is like a hang-on kind of deal when you're on one of these things. And so we went down some like little waterways, and yeah, it was a really educational experience. The guy who was our guide kind of knew a lot about the area, and I'm into my biology too, so got to learn about the little waterways, kind of like the wildlife around there. And it was a good time. We some parts got a little sketchy. Like it does get pretty technical in some areas. Like some parts going over like only 6 inches of water. Like the boat only had 6 inches of water for the pump to actually cycle it out of the jet to get through over that section. And also you're going uphill and against the river too. So but you can really feel the power of this boat, right? So this was it was a really unique experience. My first time ever doing a donut in a jet boat, or doing a donut on the water at all in any watercraft. So.
Oh wow, yeah.
Actually, I'll try and find a video for the hangout tomorrow of us doing the donut in a jet boat, because it was really, and I don't know if many people could say that. It's really.
Yeah, I can't. I barely eat a donut in a jet boat. I don't know how you're doing though.
But yeah, man, it was a good time. So yeah, spent my week just kind of hanging out and, spending some time outdoors.
That's good, man. It's always good to reset and get a little time outdoors. I'm trying to think what I did this week. This week was kind of low key for me. I ended up. Did I do anything outdoors this week? I didn't go swimming. I just worked out a lot. That was pretty much it. I got a haircut finally, so I feel like
I've seen that. You got a fresh cut.
Yeah, I needed it. I felt bad because my girlfriend got me a haircut at a very fancy barbershop. Well, they do really good fades and all this, but their wait for like an appointment is like 3 weeks. And I was like, I can't do this. I told her, I'm just going to go get a haircut real quick from a normal place, the place I normally go to. My next haircut I'll plan out for maybe in a month or so when I can actually get an appointment.
Oh man, I have a really good relationship with my barber. He's actually one of my really good friends. So when we were younger, I actually used to go to his place. He used to cut my hair when I was like, you know, like 18, 19 years old, he was cutting my hair in his mom's basement and charging 15 bucks a haircut and stuff. And he's just kind of moved his way up the ladder. And today he runs like a high-end salon, like a men's salon, a grooming lounge.
Oh.
So he does, you know, like the beards, like what you got there. He does that. He does the fades. You know, he's really into that. And yeah, just kind of knows, like, we're at the point where I just like sit down in the chair, and he's like, all right, what do you want? And I'm like, just do what you want to do, man. Just have at it. And he'll, you know, every now and then he'll do something different, but it's, I don't know, man. I think it's good to have a relationship with your barber or your dentist. There's certain people that, like, I would just never really want to swap out that often, you know. I think barber's one of them for sure.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because my girlfriend bought me a haircut from a different barbershop I normally go to. So her birthday was coming up, so I did the same thing. I bought her like a haircut because she said she needed one from the barber that I normally go to, because they do both men and women. And then she's like, I've been going to the same barber for 10 years, so it's going to be weird to go to a new barber. I'm like, well, it's kind of the same thing you did for me. I have my regular barber, but you got me a haircut with somebody new. So I'm like, just, you're gonna have to swallow it and go get a haircut, because I'm gonna have to do the same. But it worked out, so we'll see what happens.
So I'll ask you, so you got the new barber now. Are you gonna be loyal to the old barber? Have you moved on, or is this your new barber now? Was the cut that good?
So this is the old barber, but it wasn't the same. I have this woman, Sydney, has been cutting my hair probably the last 2 or 3 years at the place I go to. This week has been cooler in Nashville, but last week was horrendous. It was like heat index of 105, 106 degrees. And during that week, my tire got a flat on my bike. So there were days where I was walking 10, 12 miles a day to go and do what I normally do in a day in that heat with the long hair and the beard. So I was like, I told her, I'm like, babe, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to my barber just to get this done, because I can't wait a month to get a haircut. It's gonna kill me. But my Sydney wasn't available the day that I went to book it, so I just picked anybody. It was a new guy. His name was Tomas. He wasn't a new barber. It was the first time I've gotten a haircut with him. He did a decent job. Sydney knows exactly what I want and need, so there's no question. Like, she would just, like, she knows I like a tapered fade, so she would just do it. This guy didn't do the taper, but it was also like, I just want less hair, please, for the love of God. So he did a good job. I will probably go back to Sydney after this, but I still haven't gone to the barber that she got me. So I have to do that at least. I'm going to have one more haircut coming up probably in the next month or so. That'll be a new barber. But these guys are like bone fade kind of barbers. Like, they're going to give me like skin fade into some fancy shit. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the kind of work that my buddy does now. And it's, it is a longer haircut too. Like, it takes longer, in my opinion. You're like sitting there for like an hour.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I used to just get buzz cuts for the longest time before I met him. Just shave it. Like, just shave it. I was all about utility. Like, just get the hair off, right? But
yeah, I mean, I was close to just doing it myself. I bought a new razor, and I was gonna take my beard off completely just because I was tired. I haven't been beardless in 3 years, so it's like, I want to know what the hell my chin looks like. I've lost weight, so it's like, where is it? Like, but it's short. I like it right now. And yeah, soonish I'll go back and get, like, probably like in a month or so when it gets a little longer. I'll probably go back. But you're right, it does take so much longer. If I went to my, like, a barber that does a bone fade, they're going to, like, use a razor to cut everything on my neck and the back of my head and all that other stuff. So it's good, but the haircut just becomes so much more intense.
Yeah, for sure. Talking about barber loyalty here on the podcast.
Yeah,
definitely.
Until you can get your barber on chain, we're gonna have to do it this way. But
that's right.
Hey, I know this is not crypto related, but I'm watching this video right now on Twitter. I'll show it to you. Did you hear about what happened with Kai? I forget the way his last name is pronounced. Kai Cenat.
No.
So apparently this guy, he's a social media influencer.
Oh, in New York. Okay, I didn't know the name. I was watching this kind of break out real quick. Kai
Yeah, so that's
Cenat,
him. He's
okay.
getting arrested right now by NYPD, or in this video, because he was doing a giveaway of like GTA 6 or something like that, and I think a PlayStation 5. And this is Union Square. I used to live in this neighborhood when I lived in New York. He caused basically a riot. Like thousands of people rushed. There was like fighting. There's been like, let me see if I can find more footage of it because it was kind of
Yeah.
intense. Like,
I saw people throwing bottles. Like it was, yeah, look at that shit. Holy.
yeah, and like there's videos of them like stomping on cars and just causing all this mass destruction. This dude is gonna go to jail for inciting a riot, and it's messed up because I mean it's not messed up. He shouldn't have done it, but it's if you give away something, why doesn't anybody do this when I give away stuff for Orium Game Night? Is it not that it's just not a like GTA 6 or a PS5? Like, do I have to bring up the prizes to be like $500 or $600 to get the arena crawling with people like killing each other?
Yeah, this is like an IRL NFT launch right here. This is like
Yeah,
gas
this
wars
is
right
bad.
here. But the gas,
Yeah,
the
this
gas
is
is like your
bad.
fists.
See, I grew up
Dang.
in New York, right? So I've only seen it like this once.
Holy shit,
And when it was
dude.
there,
Look at that.
was during Occupy Wall Street. I remember because I was like, I had like an ounce of weed in my book bag. This was still illegal. And I went to Occupy Wall Street, like rally in Union Square in this area. And then the cops start cracking down on people and arresting them. And I just stood like, basically, if you looked at the last video, there's where is it? The last video of his arrest. This is in front of the Whole Foods in Union Square. So I basically was standing like where this cop over here is, not the guy in the
Right.
white, but the one behind him, like where the blue is. And they're just arresting hundreds of people. And I got like an ounce of weed in my bag, and I'm just standing there watching it for like 20 minutes before I left. Just like, I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm going to try not to get arrested. But yeah, I haven't seen it that crazy since then. So seeing this is intense. Like,
That's
just to
saying
see
something
people-
though, right? Because like look at the two causes. You were there during Occupy Wall Street. That was like a global event. Like that was because of a whole financial collapse that had happened. Compared to this, like I'm surprised this is over a PlayStation. There was nothing more to it, just GTA, the new GTA, and a PlayStation. Is that right?
Yeah, from what I understand, from what I've read. Yeah, and this is Union Square. This is like the town, like back in the day in Manhattan, this is where like town meetings would happen. This is like, we're like 1 block away from my dog sit. When I go to New York, this is where I go, the neighborhood I'm in. And I lived like a block away from this when I lived in New York. So seeing this is just intense because it's like underneath the Union Square, like in Union Square, there's the Union Square train station. It's that circular thing you see. If I back up a little bit, that's the train station. This is the entrance to the train station here. You see people on top of it, which you never see. In that train station is a precinct. They have a police precinct in there. So I was surprised that they didn't come out faster because people were like, the cops are just being overrun by all these people. But they have a full like precinct with, I think, jail cells downstairs in that train station. So, developing story. I saw this when I was at Target with my girlfriend shopping, and I was like, holy crap, man, what is happening?
You know the area, so you understand. Dang, that's a
Yeah.
lot of people. Like, is it normally that crowded? Because that's a lot of people there to begin with, to be honest.
I mean, this area is usually crowded, but not like this. Like this is like in the heart of NYU. This is, if you're going like NYU, like their school buildings, their dorm buildings are like all around Union Square. So once in a while you'll see events where it gets crowded like this, but I've never seen it this crowded outside of like the Occupy Wall Street stuff. So it's just like, it's mayhem at this point, and it's also happening during rush hour. So it's like, for us now it's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, but this would have been at like 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern Standard, which is like the height of rush hour in New York.
Dang. And it's funny because I've never heard of this influencer guy. Like, do you know much about his whole deal? What kind of influence does he have?
I don't know much about him. I've seen videos of him. There was a video of him a week ago that kind of went viral where he's like in Japan or something. I think he's talking to some girl, and it's this tall white woman, and he's like flirting with her. And then he's like, how old are you? And she's like, I'm 16. And then you just saw his face. He was like, because I think he's over 18. And he was just like, I made a mistake. Like, he wasn't being weird or anything. But I think I've also seen videos of him setting off fireworks in apartments, like in one of his apartments. I think he's a gamer. I don't know much about the guy, but I've heard his name before, and I've seen videos of him on social media.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, if you didn't know about him before, you do now, right? Like, people will be finding out who this guy is. But
Oh yeah, he definitely fuck around and he found out.
He
So
found out real quick.
real quick, yeah.
Oh shit! Well, thanks for sharing that, man. Yeah, I kind of saw that earlier, right before the show, as I was getting everything together, and now we actually have some context, so that's awesome. Not awesome for him, but we'll find out how that. It's a developing story, so we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, definitely. What do you want to talk about today? What's the going? What are we dealing with today?
Yeah, I just picked up a couple tweets we can maybe kind of talk about, but also anything else you have, of course. Let's have a look here. So we got Tutor, which is the latest addition to the Aavegotchi developer team. He put out like a really great thread and actually covers some Aavegotchi gaming. You know, of course, we're like really into Aavegotchi DAO, and all that. But this is a little teaser, basically, of what's coming here. Things we've talked about extensively over the last couple years. So we can look at that. And then I also got a couple tweets I picked up. This one was kind of funny. I think we might have talked about this last week, but the country of Niger and their minister, kind of what's going on with that and how they're dealing with stolen finances over there. I just got a little meme from Borovic saying aliens exist and they'll probably use some cryptocurrency. So we talk about aliens and cryptocurrency, maybe even. And then some CCIP news from Chainlink. So that's what I got for today. But I also know you got something exciting to maybe share from the Orium side. I saw a tweet from Hernani that I pulled up, and
yeah,
maybe we can go through that as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about this. We're going to be going into more detail about this in the coming weeks, but Hernani's doing some big stuff over here. He actually put in a proposal to the Ethereum Magicians, which is the organization that like puts up, you put in suggestions to them for Ethereum standards. So he is pushing an Ethereum standard to create roles for NFTs. So it goes above my head. I tried reading, the very technical post that he has, but he has created a thread. I'll drop it into our chat. Find a way to do that in a second. But if you go to Hernani, it's his pinned tweet. Basically, he's proposing EIP 7432, which basically allows for delegation of NFT utility without compromising ownership. So instead of like currently what we do is like say in a lot of cases you have to delegate the NFT or even transfer it to a person. This will allow NFTs to have roles, and that you can delegate the roles to people without actually changing custody of the NFT. So a good example that he used in this is like, imagine you're a digital property owner and you have digital tenants, right? Instead of transferring that to these people, what you can do is grant them a role, and the role can give them very specific use cases for what they can do with the NFT or with the property. So there might be a plumber role. This person can only plumb on this land, do plumbing. It actually works for a lot of different things. One of the use cases we were talking about is potentially Lens, where right now I have my Lens profile, it's in my wallet. If I were a company like Aavegotchi and I wanted several people to work on Lens for me by posting and doing stuff, I believe Lens, someone's working on this in Lens, but this is previously it wasn't really a thing. So this would allow us to delegate the role to people to use these assets in different ways. So the way he's laying it out, it's going to be very wide, like it'll work for many different things. So he's pushing it as a standard for the Ethereum protocol. He actually put it here. This is the actual proposal and thread. So it's very exciting stuff. Non-fungible token roles, and I think it's a game changer. So hopefully this gets implemented as a standard, and then we'll be seeing this being used by projects in many different ways.
Oh man, that's exciting. I was just thinking as you were saying it, this is like a big deal for gaming, right? I mean, specifically for maybe use cases with how we're blending out assets with gaming, right? Like I feel like that's gonna be a big deal with this sort of an update. Not only Lens profiles, but also like your assets.
Yeah, gaming. We've talked about it for like staking things, like where if you want to keep stuff in your vault, but you have to, you stake it to earn some kind of passive yield. Some NFT PFP projects do that. and then the asset's no longer in your wallet. So if you try to do certain things, you can't because your wallet doesn't show up as being the owner of it because it's staked. It's in a smart contract somewhere.
Hmm.
This would allow you to grant yourself roles from the asset itself so that you can continue to do things within the ecosystem of that PFP project that'll allow you to, do stuff. It's a it's all over my head, like way over my head. I try explaining this to partners and stuff like that. Ernani, it's a role-based delegation system. That's the easiest way to say it.
Oh, that's awesome. And maybe we can. I know he has a tweet out here. And is that essentially? I guess that's what this is explaining here. Is EIP 7432, and owning digital property as an NFT, but you want to share the responsibilities with someone you can trust. But you can.
Yeah.
He's calling it a property manager role. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so it allows you. It opens up the possibilities, like to do so much with delegation of these NFTs without compromising security.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. I'm really looking forward to this, and seeing how we can make this a use case with some of the games that I'm familiar with. Aavegotchi. You have is Comet still doing like renting ships, and are they still active in that sort of
They are, but they did a recent update that kind of like nerfed the whole ecosystem in a sense. Like a lot of the guilds have become inactive because they can no longer earn rewards from playing the game. And then like one of the systems was like you could basically play and craft cards, but now they've opened it up that anybody can pick any card, so you can't really even, like buying the cards is kind of pointless at this point. So a lot of the guilds that I was working with, they all pretty much gone inactive. Like they've warned me, they're like, if you're playing Comet and you're trying to find other players, it's going to be hard to find a second player to play against you because no one's playing the game. So like they have a whole bunch of stuff in their pipeline, and there are going to be some new stuff coming out, like tournaments and stuff by the end of the year. I believe Comet is also doing some stuff with Optimism, so there's going to be like moves that are being made in that sense. So the rental stuff, not really the most, like it won't really be the big thing. But Orium, I don't know if I can talk about this yet, but we're gonna be announcing a partnership on Monday. I can announce a partnership now. I actually talked to you about it. It's with High Seas Pirates. They're a GameFi project on Polygon. I can actually show you them that we're going to be partnering with. They are going to be part of the partnership. Is they're going to be utilizing our protocol. This what's it called? The EIP stuff, the roles, but also marketplace. Orium has in the pipeline launching an Orium marketplace for rentals. So that's something that's very much still like, I don't think I should even be talking about this, to be honest, but I might as well mention it because on Monday we're going to announce it. High Seas Pirates is going to be one of our partners. We're going to be doing some giveaways of some of their NFTs. I'm actually pretty excited about this project. I met them through Goobs, and they give me early Aavegotchi vibes. It's a team of dev. Okay. Yeah, they're a docs team. They're refusing venture capital funding. When I talk to them, they're like, we don't care about flipping. We are here. This is like an 8 to 10 year plan. So we're not worried about price go up right now. They're like self-funded and just doing the thing, but they have so many GameFi angles that are kind of similar to Aavegotchi, but just in different ways, in their pirate way. So we're going to be partnering with them next Friday after Blockparty. They're going to be having a Twitter space that I'll be jumping on with the Orium, and we're just going to be talking because they're doing this thing that they're doing, and we might have a couple of these high seas.
Hell yeah, let's do it. And I mean, we can announce it through the week and kind of get the word out there. Yeah, I'd love to give some of these away. This sounds like a really interesting project, and yeah, that's a game night right there. It looks like
this is new. I didn't even know this because we had a meeting with them earlier. I know they do a regular Twitter space on Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern. Then they're gonna have one on Fridays, this mint party thing, and then they're another Polygon project. Like I said, I met them through Goobs, I've been doing a lot of Twitter Spaces with Metaverse Johnny, GM Polygon, in the mornings, and they're just good people. So
Yeah.
we'll know more information. I'll be putting out, or Orion will be putting out a Medium article sometime next week, probably Monday or Tuesday, kind of outlining the partnership. But yeah, I'm hoping that through some of these partnerships, I'm going to be able to get assets that we can give away to bolster our own little thing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. We should definitely do that, and looking forward to. I should keep an eye on this project. When you said Aavegotchi vibes, that definitely got my attention. So
Yeah, it's good stuff. A lot of good gaming stuff happening.
I know futuristic. I joined late today, so I kind of didn't. Were you guys like talking about Orium Network, like partnering with different guilds, or like Aavegotchi or different projects?
Oh, we were talking about Orium partnering with a new project. We have a few partnerships in the pipeline, but also some new developments that we have, like technology-wise, towards like creating new standards for the Ethereum network.
Okay, so like that's pretty cool that you guys made like a whole website for Aavegotchi also.
Yeah, the website also works for Cometh is on there. We have other partnerships, but those are going to be for our marketplace, the rental marketplace, like Nova Creed, Chronos, High Seas Pirates eventually, and then basically any gaming project that has assets that you can rent out. I think we're going to be making, I don't know how soon, but there's going to be a marketplace in development for that. But I can't give away a lot of details because it's still like very much under wrap.
there's been some heavy alpha that was dropped here. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to all this, and yeah, maybe we'll get our Nani sometime to drop some, or yourself to drop some more of this alpha as this development comes out.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Shall we look at some other tweets? I mean, do you got anything that jumped out at you this week? I was going to talk about Chainlink's launching their official CCIP, which is like a pretty big thing for crypto, honestly. I think every now and then we get these like technological leaps that happen within our space that just globally kind of make things more possible, and CCIP is one of them. But before we kind of look at that, do you have anything that you want to talk about?
I'm gonna give a shout out to this gaming thing. We did it yesterday. Goobs put me onto it. It's this game called Running Pop's Game. They're running a tournament between Polygon communities. So this is, you can see the tournament here. It's a free-to-play tournament where it's like a temple run style game, but the top prize for winning is 10,000 Matic. There's also a top community prize of 20,000 Matic. Now, unfortunately, Aavegotchi is not a community within this leaderboard, but me and Goobs are talking. We're gonna make sure that we are in the next one. But yeah, these are all Polygon projects, and the top prize for the community will be 20,000 Matic. Goobs has gotten me to play for Wreck Dog, so we're very close to being number one. Dang. But this motherfucker Goobs is on some next stuff. Goobs is number 2 in this tournament with a score of 59 million points. Dang. He's so close. So if he wins, I think the prize was like for second place was like 7,000 Matic or something like that. So I would encourage you all to check this out. We were playing it last night on Orium Game Night. I'll show it to you real quick. It's just a very simple temple style run, just try to evade the cop and not hit any stuff, but it's a lot of fun. I want to see more games like this coming out across the board, because these are just easy mini games that you can play and people will love. And yeah, I've been playing this a lot just because I think it's fun, and it's a quick game. You die quickly, you just start over again. So take a look at that, friends. We're not partnered with this at all. It's just a cool tournament in the Polygon community, and I'm looking forward to trying to get us Aavegotchi specifically to be in the next tournament that they launch.
Nice. Yeah, Temple Run is my jam, man. I love that game. Really addicted.
No futuristic.
Say again?
So I was talking with Goobs, and I found out that it took him 3 to 4 hours per million, and in total he spent over 180 hours to get to second place in one run. He had to pause the game and pause game because he's not sitting down for 180 hours. I don't think that.
Let's hope not. For sure.
Yeah, the cool
But
thing about this game, and I think that we can learn a lot from it, is they have like a bunch of like when you're playing the game, they have sinks, but the sinks are like you can go and buy in the shop. You can buy items to make your run better, like with Matic. So you can buy the booster, which gives you shields. The shield allows you to run through obstacles, and then you can buy magnets, which will grab up all of the coins that are available, helping your score go higher. So I think this is a great format. I wish that we can get the Aavegotchi treasury, not the treasury, the arcade task force to create stuff like this, where it's like simple reskin of a temple run game with Aavegotchis, and that we can use our Alchemica or even Ghost to boost our scores and just kill it, because this would create such a crazy burn. Like even yesterday, I spent like 20 Matic trying to get my new high score. So I'm imagining Goobs probably spent a lot of money. Although he told me about the game and he was giving me all these tips, so he knows what he's doing, especially if he's doing a run that's 180 hours or something crazy like that. Yeah,
he didn't
check it
spend
out.
a lot of money. I was talking with him and like DMs about what he did. He said it took him less than 50 Matic.
Wow,
So
yeah.
there's a skill element there. Maybe he was using some sort of a skill to make up for that, like bring down his cost, and so that's interesting.
Yes, I just dropped the link to this game. It's a free to play. You don't have to connect your wallet. You can if you want to buy like boosts and stuff like that, but just a fun little game. We're repping Wreck Dogs right now, but eventually, you know, we're going to push for Aavegotchi to be in this, because I think we have some of the best gamers. Like I was saying it yesterday, Los Mustachios, when we did the guild battles from Fall Guys, they were wiping the floor with everybody.
God, dude, they were wiping us up for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more stuff like that.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. And speaking of that, we actually do have some really cool things in the works. We have community members. Shout out to Oliver Spoon, who has just dropped his proposal in Aavegotchi DAO and proposing to build out a really cool dungeon crawler style game that's like 100 levels deep. So that's going to be really interesting. Yeah, you got him pulled up there, game publisher. He actually dropped a fire little animation this morning. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, when I saw this, I was like, wait a minute, are we getting a gotchi like poker game? Because I love the idea of games that we can play that, you know, your gotchi's skills, your gotchi's like, if you have an OP gotchi, you have a good chance. But a game like poker, it doesn't matter how sweet your gotchi is if you don't know how to play poker. So I want more games like that where I have a chance to go. Like we see a god like, you know, a gotchi. I think that's probably Artemis, the #1 PRS gotchi in there at this table. I want to know I can go and play poker with that guy, and it doesn't matter that he has like, you know, a godlike robe. If he sucks at poker, he sucks at poker, right?
Would you want any traits to make a difference? Like maybe there's a luck element, because like I feel like that's
no, I don't want to. No traits. Let's just play. Let me go in with my simple common ass gotchi, because like, all right, in the arena yesterday we were playing in the arena for Orium game night. I didn't have my gotchis rented to me because I like was trying to get stuff out of their pockets. I was having issues hitting the legacy app. So I ended up using some of my client gotchis, and these guys rock all mythical items. So for the first time in a long time, I was actually beating other people in the arena. And I was like, oh yes, that pay to win thing is great. But I also like, you know, look at the temple run game. You don't have to own the NFT, but you get to play. But if you want to, you can give yourself boosts by paying for them. I do like it being just skill based. It is like some games, if it's just skill based, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Would you want like real Alchemica involved for your Annies?
Yeah, heck yeah. We put up a 10,000 keck, raise on someone's cards or something like that. Call somebody all in for all of their FUD. Like, that would be dope. Yeah. The only thing is we would need like escrow accounts to like safely put the bets in and then a payout to happen at the end.
Oh, speaking of that, I had a meeting today with Hedgie Finance. They'll be talking to us at the DAO meeting tomorrow. They have a solution, and it's a free solution. So like the DAO doesn't need to like put up money or anything. It's like it's a public good, essentially. But it will allow us to Hedgie Finance. Yeah, you got it. I think that's it. No, it's not that. Let me see if I can find it. Hedgie Finance. Yeah, I'm not sure what their Twitter handle is, to be honest. Oh, right here. Few builders. It's Jarvis James here that hooked me up. So I'll find the Twitter handle. But this is a actually, you know what? Let me actually go to Hedgy Finance. Let me do that. Let's do that.
And while you do that, friends, if you're in here, jump in the arena. I'm gonna drop some. I'll try to drop some Chemica. Take one of my OP gotchis in there.
I'll try not to die.
I won't kill you. Don't worry.
Here we go.
Sadly, I don't have a mouse. I have to use my mouse pad.
Oh man.
Yeah, I got Hedgy Finance up here.
Put the Hedgy Finance tweet stuff large in the screen.
Yeah, I swapped it out.
Okay, perfect.
So this is Hedgy Finance. Create and manage your on-chain token vesting, lockups, and distributions from a single platform. So Gitcoin uses this, Bankless DAO, and 100 other projects. Believe built on Gnosis. And what they allow you to do is set up your disbursement, like many features, but to set up your disbursements when you are issuing grants and things like that. So you can, basically plan a vesting schedule if you're funding a project. So you don't necessarily need to pay out in a lump sum. You can actually have like a token drip that happens, or like a recurring payment that automatically happens from that allocation of funds. And in addition to that, you can revoke payments as well. So if there's like a project and the team's working on it and suddenly they just stop working on it and don't deliver the product, the DAO will have the capability to revoke the payment and only pay them for whatever amount of tokens they vested. So whatever amount of work they already did, that's what they'll get paid for, but everything else can get revoked back to the treasury. So they got some really interesting features that they can that might be helpful for a DAO. And so you see here, token vesting, investor lockups, community distributions, and treasury lockups.
Yeah, those distributions will be epic. I could see that working for, because currently we have like, I believe the directors are doing swaps like $50,000 at a time or something like that, because I don't want to misquote this, but if I remember correctly, we're trying to do a lot of transactions on Saturdays, because if the swap isn't timed properly, like if the price changes too much, the swap won't go through. So we're continuously have to do transactions for swaps. So if we had a way to do this like automated, it would make it much easier.
Yeah, the dashboard is really nice too. I'll just share a little clip here. This is kind of what you guys as the directors would be able to see. So the token, the claim end date, you can put the recipients in, so where the money's going. I think there's some pre-programmable things you can do as well. There's like different parameters you can set. It's very flexible in the way it can be used. And there's this is just for claiming tokens. So like this could be set up even for like rarity farming, for example. So like we don't manually need to distribute rarity farming rewards. We can have the snapshot taken, and then automatically from a vesting contract, everybody would get their tokens paid out. So it's a way to kind of automate some of these really like mundane, time-consuming tasks, but also giving the DAO treasury some flexibility in how things are getting dispersed and how people are getting paid out, and protecting the DAO a little bit too from funding projects.
Yeah, and you just reminded me, I'm showing this on screen because you talk rarity farming. There was a almost 90,000 ghost sale this week of an Aavegotchi. This thing is earning something like 24,000 ghosts per season. So it's like ridiculous. It'll pay itself off in like 2 or 3 seasons. I think three or 4 seasons. Crazy.
How long is a season?
Each season is 8 weeks, so every round is 2 weeks. I believe we're approaching the 4th round this week, right?
I think, yeah, the last snapshot's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, so usually it's 2 months for the full season, and then there's like a month or 2 off, and then we have another season. But I think like the issue is, and I saw this Maxi Crouton. I put in like the Dow Treasury report, in the Dow discussion, probably like I want to say earlier this week. I can look it up. Yeah. So currently, total ghost in the Treasury, 14,452,325 ghosts. Total die, 12,694,673. Oh, sorry, this is the July numbers. The numbers have actually switched. In August, we have 15 million ghosts, 12 million die, 2 million USDC. So the USDC, I believe, is being used currently for swaps and liquidity pools. So we still have a nice amount of ghosts, but we, how long can we run 1.5 million per season? In 1 year, if we run 4 seasons, that's 6 million ghosts. So that only gives us two and a half years of runway at this level, unless we bring in new revenue. So the current rarity farming setup is probably going to change. We're going to either do it where you have to opt in, like if you're away from your keyboard and you're not actually like active in the community, your gotchi won't get rarity farming, or the reward pool has to go down because it's not sustainable currently.
Hey man, I think we should add that to the docket for tomorrow. I'm actually gonna take note of that right now, because we get caught in this trap every time where we go through rarity farming. We're just like collecting the rewards, and then the conversation and everything around it, we never get to these changes, and then we just never change anything. So I think we'll add that to the docket tomorrow. Let's do that.
That's good. Oh, so tomorrow we'll also, I believe you mentioned we're going to talk a little bit about potentially rare Evo, but do you think it's worth at all? I don't think it is, but I just figured because me and you haven't talked about it. Did you see what happened with Aavegotchis this week?
No, but give me the latest juice on Aavegotchis. I would love to hear that.
Okay, so I was asked to join in, I think on Monday or Tuesday, in the DeFi space as a representative of the Aavegotchi DAO. The GM Polygon space that Metaverse Johnny hosts, and Aavegotchis was supposed to be on that Twitter space. When I woke up that morning, I woke up in our general chat to Bearded basically showing that Aavegotchis put through a proposal on their DAO. I'm using like finger quotes for that one, to reverse the previous proposal, which affirmed that they weren't going to dump the 200,000 Vigos that they held. There was a promise between the Gotchi Vault managers and the Aavegotchis team that contingent our whole like returning the funds and the Gotchi Vault managers voting on it was contingent on the fact that they passed a proposal stating that they weren't going to just dump the Vigos, and that Vigos would be used towards, I guess, Vigos holders on the Aavegotchis protocol. On Monday, go kill me, Destroyer. On Monday, they basically put out a proposal saying we're going to reverse that decision. So they lied, like, essentially. So I was like, heated. Like,
that is some serious stuff right there.
Yeah, I was so heated. You know how me and Bearded fight all the time. This was one time I was like, this is shitty. Like, they literally came into our Discord, promised they weren't going to do that, and then they changed their mind. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to light them up when they come into this Twitter space. They never came in. And I think that was a strategic decision, because I was going to fucking set them on fire. Like, because that is just bad form. Like, you don't do that. Like, you make a promise. They've already looked kind of shifty beyond all of this stuff, but then they make promises and then turn back on it. I'm like, you cannot be called a DAO if you're doing stuff like that. And I know the counter argument against us is like, hey, the Gotchi Vault controls so much VP, but in reality, in the last week, the Gotchi Vault has lost over 1,000 Gotchis. They're no longer petting. They're no longer lending. So people are fleeing. So I think it rebalances our DAO in a good way.
It does.
But to see back out of that deal I just thought it was very unprofessional. And
It's
I've already
disgusting.
called them out for being unprofessional. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Honestly, I mean, and even to even think you should come on a live DAO call and then state the things they stated. I mean, I'm glad we got them into a position where they have now on-chain signaled their like dysfunction as what they call a DAO, because I don't think they're a DAO at this point. Like, didn't they spin up their DAO just for this, basically? Like, it wasn't really much of a DAO before that.
This is the snapshot proposal. I actually have it up. The proposal aims at ascertaining that AIP 23 OIP, the OVIX Improvement Protocol, reflects the will of our community given the circumstances under which community was made to vote. Ask community whether to affirm that or distribute the proceeds of the Vigos funds to all affected markets. So the motivation following the exploit of OVIX protocol on the 28th of April, the team has been working tirelessly to help recapitalize markets. Among the funds recovered, the OVIX protocol multi-sig currently holds 206,000 Vigos returned by Gotchi vault managers in the immediate aftermath of the exploit. Another 763,000 ghosts used to enable the exploit were sent to Aavegotchi DAO Treasury, which the OVIX community has been attempting to convince the DAO to return to the rightful owners for the past 5 months. As of July 27th, the core pop for the return of the Ghost funds has passed, and the funds have been returned to the proposed multi-sig. On the July 15th AV community call, a number of Gotchi vault managers urged our community to create and vote on an emergency protocol proposal that commits to depositing the entire Vigos funds in the respective Vigos market. It was made clear that otherwise they will not use their significant voting power and thus would prevent the Ghost funds being returned. To put this event into perspective, we note that among such actors, several hold public addresses that profitably extracted excess funds deposited by the exploiter into the GV between the time of the attack and the GV's contract pausing. It does not appear right to let such parties use OVIX as soon as POS resumes until their motives for going against the interest of the community are made clear. In the future, the community should consider discussing whether to suspend any O tokens associated with the aforementioned, so they're blacklisting addresses now, as a temporary measure to ensure that potential malicious actors are not allowed to take further advantage of OVIX. So they basically, in hindsight, the Gotchi Vault managers seem to have taken advantage of their position of strength to push forward a solution catering to their own advantage, to the detriment of the broader community. In the aftermath of the vote, many in the community therefore complained that the vote amounted to blackmailing. So to remedy this disempowerment of our community's voice, this proposal attempts to confirm that returning the entire Vigos amount to the Vigos market is truly the community's will. At this point, it is not the community's will. 92% of voting is to distribute to everybody, to go against, distribute Vigos as in OIP 21 versus reaffirming OIP 23, which would be the promise to not screw over the Vigos holders who are in the OVIX pool. So this is just a bad look. It's just a bad look.
So this is real shifty, and I mean, it explains a lot of their behavior and why that one guy was getting so worked up during the call, is because things weren't really going their way, and they were going to have to get what they wanted, they would have to prove their kind of intentions. They've proved their intentions on chain, honestly. That's what this is.
Yeah. Well, what makes this even worse is, like, I'll show it down here. What made it even worse is here. The ghost tokens resulting from the swap were moved to a number of sex accounts. So basically, they took the ghost, the V-Ghost and the Ghost, they dumped it, and then they moved it to centralized exchange accounts as a precaution until this vote decides on their use. So they went and swapped and then moved this funds without even going
Without
to
a
their
DAO
DAO.
vote.
Yeah. So it's like, if they show up in any decentralized finance space that I'm part of, I'm going to rip them apart, because this is not DeFi. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I hate this because OVIX is the only real DeFi on ZK EVM. So the Polygon team is kind of like pushing them. Like in the conversation on DeFi, Metaverse Johnny was like, oh yeah, OVIX. They were kind of praising them. And I'm like, no, this is not the way,
Did you
friend.
say anything?
Like,
I mean,
I
regarding
didn't.
OVIX?
It was at the end, like they hadn't popped in and we were just talking about, decentralized finance. So the only thing I really did say was I was pushing for an initiative in the Gotchi DAO to basically allow us to incentivize adding Spirit Force to our Gotchis. It doesn't have to be like, I want to be able to currently there's no real reason to do that. But if we want to jumpstart and get more total, because we were talking about how total locked in value on the chain is what draws people in. It's not necessarily the NFTs. It's the volume, that's total volume locked into DeFi is what jumpstarts a chain. So that, I was like, I'm going to do my part and try to get Aavegotchi DAO to pass something that we incentivize adding Spirit Force. Maybe it gives you some kind of buff in the game or some extra yield or whatever, just to make it something like that. But I waited and OVIX never showed up. So I didn't want to if I'm going to drag them, I'm going to do it when they're on stage so that they can try to fight back. And I didn't want to start a whole big fight in the middle of this, but I was invited as a guest. But it is shifty as hell. Like it's shady behavior, and I understand. A lot of Obix community members came into the Discord and you were like, "Why do you guys care? It's not your problem anymore. I've lost all my money." But then we have Gotchi Vault holders who are not vault managers who are like, "Yo, I was wrecked. I didn't make money in this. I was wrecked in the Obix thing. Now you're telling me I'm not even gonna get what was promised? Like, it's bad. It looks bad."
Oh, dude. I mean, it's Gotchi Vault users that are gonna get screwed over in the end, which is like, I can see why like they wouldn't want Gotchi Vault to be affected, or Gotchi Vault didn't want to be affected by this. But like, this whole thing has been real messy, man. I mean, and the Ovix team has shown some real incompetence and like immaturity with how they handled this whole thing. But like their intentions are becoming more clear by the day, honestly, at this point. And I wonder what kind of like there's that one lady going off on legal trouble and how concerned she was about legal implications of everything. Like, what position does this put them in now legally? You know what I mean? I'm not sure how much these users have lost, but I'd imagine like someone losing a significant amount of this might weigh their options on actually taking some sort of a legal action against these people. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I don't have a dog in this race. I'm not a fan of the Gotchi Vault, but this is not how you do business. Like, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. So is like my VLT worthless now?
I mean,
I have 33 VLT just for the culture. Is it worthless?
I don't know. I think I have like 60% of one VLT. I put all my gotchis. Once we stopped doing the spillover, I threw all my gotchis in the Gotchi Vault because I knew each VLT would yield like $7 or something back then. Right. So with all my gotchis, I was earning like I forget the amount I got per month, but it was enough to like offset a little bit of the loss from rentals from spillover being turned off.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Yeah, it just doesn't look good. You shouldn't be doing shady shit like that. But
Hell
I mean, the good thing is it's over. Like Coder Dan made the smart decision. We have locked the it's archived now, the conversation for Ovix. So we're done. That's it.
It's done. I don't even think we should talk about it tomorrow. I mean, we can at the end, but is it really worth? Maybe throw a little shame on him at the end of the call or something.
Yeah, a little salt.
Throw a little shame on the yeah, a little shame at the end. I'm good with that.
Do you have? I know we're coming up to the hour. We're trying to keep this to an hour. Maybe go a few minutes over because I do want to talk about Chainlink. But do you have anything you want to say about the rare Evo thing? Because we talked briefly about it, but I have no idea what's happening or what the intent of the DAO is on that.
I think the DAO's gonna miss on this one, but like this is a good conversation to have around like just funding these little events, because we do have 2 volunteers potentially, one at least, but possibly 2 from our community that'll be helping out at Rare Evo. But it is supposed to be like a mini ETH Denver, so think about your developers, project managers. There's a pretty heavy emphasis on content creation, so any folks like yourself and myself that a lot like doing that thing, it's a good pitch for that. Honestly, I was gonna go. I just I'm camping that week. I'm not around, so I just not on my schedule. Or I would have gone, dude.
Yeah.
Like I would have asked you and been like, dude, let's just we'll get someone to pay for these tickets and then we'll just go, right? But yeah.
Yeah, I would love to go. Zbot, I think, is going to be going. I'm not 100% sure. He was asking me about it yesterday, but yeah, I would love to go. I just don't. I just can't afford it.
The one thing I do have on my radar is supposedly the showing up of Coder Dan on our side of the pond. So whenever that happens, or if that happens, I'm gonna be there. I'll find a way to get there. I will sell stuff, and I will. Get there.
No, I would same. Take a bus to Chicago or something for one day and come back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, awesome, man. I just quickly want to touch on CCIP. This is just a tweet from Lark Davis. I'm not a huge Lark Davis fan. I don't really watch much of his content, but I thought this tweet was actually kind of on point. So CCIP is the next big thing in crypto, and it's going to basically connect all different blockchains, making risky cross-chain bridges a thing of the past. And this is completely relevant because the whole reason why we're dealing with this OVIX nonsense is because they decided to use their, I believe, is their own oracle, which is a bridging mechanism, and there was a fault in that contract that caused the whole thing to be compromised. So Chainlink's cross-chain interoperability protocol aims to create safe bridges for people to use, and they already offer safe oracles that you can use, which actually, sorry, going back to the OVIX thing, I think it was an oracle issue, not a bridging issue. But either way, CCIP is now early access on mainnet for Avalanche, Ethereum, Optimism, and Polygon. So the whole idea of CCIP is it's going to aim to make moving across these different chains a seamless and effortless experience. Meaning, you go from Polygon, you send your assets to Avalanche using the CCIP bridge, and it's there, just as if you're using a Polygon transaction. Same thing with Optimism to Ethereum, vice versa, and between the four. It's going to be really interesting what this is going to do for our ecosystem, specifically gaming. Because right now we have, like, it's almost like we're on these little islands. It's like a string of islands across different chains, and we're all building really interesting experiences, but the barriers are the chains themselves. And so if we remove that, then we can kind of have we can consider ourselves one cohesive Web3 gaming ecosystem, as opposed to an Ethereum gaming ecosystem, a Polygon gaming ecosystem, an Avalanche gaming ecosystem. It's going to be just a Web3 gaming ecosystem, and I think that's going to be a big change in my opinion. But curious to know your thoughts, what you're kind of thinking with all this.
No, I love it, man. Like right now in Nashville happening is Solana Summerfest, right?
Yeah.
I own some Solana stuff, but not a lot. But Solana has a ton of Web3 games. And like for me, it's tough because like Orium works only with EVM compatible chains. So we can't do anything with those Solana games, even though there's so many of them. So having that cross-chain compatibility and making it easy, I think, is the future, because what we want is frictionless gameplay, right? People to come in and to be able to change, like it's like Gala Games going on to the Elixir launcher. You have Elixir installed on your computer. You can be playing games on Immutable X. You can be playing a Polygon game. You could be playing a Solana game potentially. That's the future. We need that so that people, if you want to play a title, it's as simple as that. Like it's like having you own a PlayStation, you own an Xbox, but if you can get NBA 2K21 or 24, whatever it is now, for either of those systems, it's still the same game, but for different system, cross system compatible. That is the way video games work now. It should work like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what I'd hope see happen is the Avalanche community build their gaming community on Polygon, and vice versa. The Aavegotchi gaming community on Polygon now is a following on Avalanche, because there's some sort of like Aavegotchi Avalanche game going on. This is going to allow for our assets to now make their way across to these other ecosystems and be used in their games and their experiences. It's going to be really interesting what happens here. And, I really like to focus on the technological advancements in crypto, but the market always seems to kind of, value things in a delayed way, especially if it's something really innovative. So this is not financial advice, but I think Chainlink's doing some really interesting things here. And in regards to a moat, I think they have a really deep moat at this point, and some really interesting network effects going on. So gotta keep an eye on this one, and we'll talk about CCIP if it becomes relevant to Aavegotchi for sure.
Yeah. Before we sign off, I want to talk about one last thing. Our good friend Flame Viper Mootcat on Twitter brought this to my attention. There's a new a forum post in the I guess discourse, and I have it up on my screen. It's advertisement go Duppy. We can use GoGoDuppy as an ad to establish brand awareness. I propose we spend 1,000 USD on putting an ad for GoGoDuppy, the web series, on 4chan/co for mobile users specifically. It should avoid most of the bots on desktop, which waste ad impressions. We would also not allow certain countries due to a huge amount of bots, namely India and China, as well as Russia, Africa, South America. I'd like to hear any objections regarding who we advertise to. The ad would link to the web series on YouTube. The goal is to establish Aavegotchi as a brand that's worth being copied by third parties to sell and offer us free advertisement, just like Among Us having unofficial toys and merchandise everywhere in the world due to popularity. Plan B, advertise it somewhere else. If the creator of GoGoDuppy could come in this thread to discuss, that'd be great, as well as if he could make his YouTube videos links to the comic book and main Aavegotchi website. So I like that idea. $1,000 isn't a lot. Duppy's an OG, one of the first content creators making animated stuff. I will say though, I saw Coder Dan's post, and I love that the Gotchi account responded to it. Blink twice if you're okay. But I showed my girlfriend these, and she's a normie, and she saw these, and she's like, "Oh, these look cute. This is the way. We need to become the Pudgy Penguins and do this." Gotchi toys.
Oh man, I need that in my life right now. I need to start buying those. Get those in my life.
Yeah.
So
And shout out to Zbot because he dropped into my fake Gotchi wallet one of these. I think each of these from the digital collection. So I have these fake Gotchis now from him. But these are the toys. They look great. I want to see stuff like this in Five Below, and I think we're getting close to that.
Yeah, man, I definitely cop some of these digital copies when they're up for auction. I missed a couple of the other Zbot ones. He's been putting some fire out there lately, and yeah, I can't wait to have some more physical IRL Gotchi stuff for sure.
Yeah, buying the initial GM mode from Zbot was one of the best investments I made. I think he's airdropped me every piece that he's put out since. The only thing I don't have is the one of one, the what's it called? The raffle, the rare raffle. I forget what the one of one godlike.
Man, that's cool. Yeah, I mean the godlike is that's something. I mean it is one of one. Do you have the card? The card derivative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have I have pretty much everything he's dropped except for the one of one.
Hell yeah. Absolutely, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing else regards to announcements. Tomorrow during the DAO call, I mean, things have been kind of coming together here for the DAO call. Talk about rarity farming season opt-in. We'll have Hedgy Finance on for the DAO call, talking about a really useful tool for us. Probably talk about the DAO events committee a little bit. I've been meaning to get a forum post out there for that. And then get our Voltron Hackathon update. Talk about GoGoDuppy a little bit. Make sure we get that plug in there. And then also see if somebody wants to do podcast recordings for Aavegotchi DAO or the Hangout. I know I've been saying it. I'm gonna do it, and I just haven't been on my thing. But maybe we might need to revive the old archives. I'm not sure who has access to that. But,
When you say podcast recording, what do you mean?
it's like Spotify recordings of the DAO call.
Oh yeah.
So we do have the YouTube right now, so people can listen to the call on YouTube, but we don't have. And it's a fairly simple thing, honestly. It's just uploading the audio file to the podcast or the Spotify reel. So yeah, that's all we got, man. That's the DAO call. Hangout's gonna be tight. I'm sure we'll have lots of things to discuss there. And if we don't see you, then hope y'all have a good weekend.
Definitely take it easy, bro.
I had like 2 questions. So like you guys were talking about the CIGI bridge thing. I'm not sure if I said it right, but like, is it going to be like when you bridge it over, it's going to be like gas is going to only be like a transaction? Because when I bridged stuff over to first start Aavegotchi, my bridge fee was like 1 Matic.
Yeah, you make a good point, and that's something actually we should probably, we'll do a deep dive into CCIP one of these days where we can talk about, how you're actually going to go about doing it and using it as a feature. But I would imagine it would probably involve paying something in Link, because the Link token is going to be the gas token for CCIP, I believe.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see how that happens, how that works. But yeah, definitely gonna do a deep dive into that. And yeah.
Where can we buy Link?
Well, if you're gonna buy any cryptocurrencies, I think Chainlink is one of the most widespread ones, along with Bitcoin, Ethereum. Centralized exchanges are a way to get onboarded. So you got Binance, crypto.com. You gotta check your country and see what's available in your country. But that's one way, and then you also got the decentralized way to buy it. So you got Uniswap, for example, where you can buy it on Ethereum, or for example QuickSwap if you're going to be buying on Polygon. And so those are just a few places I can throw out there, but again, you got to check what how that applies to the country you're in and all that good stuff. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
No
And
worries.
the other question was, what's a raffle? I see them when I'm loading into the Gotchiverse. I see raffle, feed them bits of your Alchemica.
Well, that is a mystery of the Gotchiverse that we have not unlocked yet. So keep feeding the raffle. I've tried to put the clues together, but I'm not very good at puzzles. So I'm kind of hoping whenever Gotchi
Wait,
game.
where can you feed the raffle?
Well, you have to go to the tree of FUD there and find it in the Gotchiverse. And go feed your raffle, and hopefully someone can figure it out, because I definitely have not. But yeah. All right, friends. I think that is a wrap for our show today. I appreciate y'all joining us today, hanging out with us. Catch us tomorrow at the Hangout, and if we don't see you there, have a good weekend, friends. Peace out.
Thanks, Hefe.
Absolutely.
See you.
Later, friends.
Thanks, No Futuristic, for all the FOMO in Arena. I think I was the only one collecting it.
That's cool.